how we display dates, times, money, addresses, telephone numbers, measurement units, etc. all have to do with where we live. This is called our locale settings. In this video, I'll demonstrate the basics of configuring, customizing, and changing your locale in Ubuntu. So let's open up our terminal window and let's type in locale. So this gives me a list of my current locale settings, and they're all set to pretty much English Canada with a few exceptions, which might seem odd, English DK. So ENDK looks like English Denmark, but it's more of a European English, kind of an ISO or standard English that doesn't fit any particular country. I mean, obviously, if you have English in the UK, your currency would be in pounds, and there'd be a few other minor differences. So this is sort of a one-off to support different types. Now, numeric and ENDK will give me commas instead of periods. So if I open up the calculator, just to show you the kind of settings it affects. So if I open up calculator and I look, instead of decimals, or for my decimals, I have commas instead of the period. Now, if I change that back, so I can update this and change one of my locale settings. So if we look at the different ones, time is how you display times. Is it year, month, day, or day, month, year, or month, day, year, etc.? Are dates separated by hyphens or slashes? Monetary, what monetary symbol, whether it's a dollar sign, a pound symbol, a euro symbol, etc. Paper, are you measuring it in using A's like A4, or 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 17? Addresses, are you using postal codes or zip codes? Where do they appear in the address? The telephone number, obviously, is it country code like +1 with a 3-digit area code, etc. Measurements, are we using inches or centimeters, pounds or kilograms? Or we can set the LC all setting this locale all will override all the individual settings and set it to whichever we set it to. Okay, that's a lot to take in right now, but most of the locale settings are pretty much what you'd expect. Now, I want to update two of them. Locale, I want to change what I set here. Numeric, I want my Canadian decimal, so I'm going to change that one back. And to update it, I need to use sudo, which I'll put in front of the command. And now I want to change my time. So I don't want to use my Canadian time. I want to use the English DK and LC time. So this will tell some programs to use this formatted date, which is the ISO 8601 date. Now, for these settings to take effect, I need to log out. So if I log out and log back in, this will apply the settings system-wide. And if I just make sure my settings did change, so these are the two that I changed. So numeric, if I go back into the calculator, you'll remember last time when it was set to ENDK, it had a comma instead of a period for my decimal. So here it's using the standard kind of North American decimal instead of the more French or European style that use a comma. So that changed that. Now, this ENDK for time, this generally means when in doubt, use the 24-hour clock and use the date format in ISO. So if I open up LibreOffice Calc, this spreadsheet program, and I put in the formula now and make it a little bigger so we can see it, you'll see it's in year hyphen month hyphen day. So in this format, so Y, and then hours, minutes, and seconds, or hours and minutes. And this is your typical ISO date format. So that tells the program, so that locale setting I set here to set it as ENDK, it tells it to use this by default. Now, if I right click and I go format and date, I can also change it to another format. It goes by the default, and if I go English USA, it'll change it to this mm/dd/yy format. And if my locale was set to be English US, it would default it to this format instead of this YYYY-mm-dd format. Now there's a number of settings and a number of ways different programs use these settings to display information in or languages in your local format. And that'll conclude this introduction to locale settings in Ubuntu.